It's time for the Writer's Block, our weekly look at all things sports. I'm Jenny Carlson here in the studios at the Oklahoman, joined by Cedric Golden in the offices of the Austin American-Statesman. Hello, my friend.
What's going on, Jen?
Hey, I'm just getting ready for the 4th of July, but lots of fireworks in the sports world this week, starting with our lead segment on the Women's World Cup. It's Megan Rapinoe, it's Alex Morgan, it's Alyssa Naeher. My gosh, are you not entertained, Cedric? This has been exciting stuff.
It's Crystal Dunn, it's Carly Lloyd, it's Julie Ertz. It's amazing. I just think it's fun to watch. The number one TV audience in America for that second round game was Austin, Texas, if you can believe that.
There you go.
So I guess Austin is soccer crazy. Full disclosure, I'm not a huge soccer fan, but when the World Cup rolls around, it's like Wimbledon and the U.S. Open in tennis, the Masters in golf. I'm a fringe fan of those sports, but I always tune in because it's a big event.
Yeah, for sure. And this one has gotten off the field intrigue. It's gotten on the field intrigue. Obviously, Megan Rapinoe's comments made about not wanting to go to the White House has created quite a stir. She has been, I think everybody is talking about Megan Rapinoe, whether you like what she said, whether you don't. She scored 2 goals in that game against France. Huge, obviously. Then she was not in the lineup before the semifinal match against England, and the questions were, was this a tactical move? We now know it was an injury. She's resting a hamstring that she now says she'll be ready for the final. As we tape, we don't yet know who that's going to be against because they're playing right now in that other semifinal, but it will be huge on Sunday. And, you know, I think, Cedric, the interesting thing is this has become an even bigger and bigger story with the off-field talk, the on-field talk. I mean, people are even talking now about, did Alex Morgan overstep some line with her goal celebration against England, the sip of tea, as everybody's now seen. There is no shortage of coverage for this event, for this team, and yet they don't make nearly the coin that the men's team does. What's going on here? I mean, they're every bit as entertaining and way better on the international stage than the men. Why is that pay not equal yet, Cedric?
Well, first of all, I've got no problem with a little spot of tea from Alex Morgan on her 30th birthday when she scored the go-ahead goal. So yeah. I have no problem with that spot of tea. They moved the needle, Jen. They're more popular than the guys. Their TV ratings are better. The bet 23 million watched their game against Japan in 2015. 23 million. The most to ever watch a World Cup game in American history. And 20 years after Brandi Chastain took off her shirt after that game-winning goal, they're still fighting the same battles. They're making $99,000 per player. The men are making $263,000 per player. It's not fair. The one thing that we all know that drives the market in sports is personalities, and they've got personalities in spades. Megan Rapinoe said, "I'm not going to the blankety blank White House if we win." Donald Trump is blasting her on Twitter as if he doesn't have better things to do, like run a country. And then Sue Bird claps back, and that's Megan's girlfriend. Sue Bird of WNBA fame claps back with a big, long column on the Players Tribune. So those are the kind of things that make a slow sports month for us, and it's slow for us, Jen.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot more interesting, gives us something to write about and talk about on our videos. So I think when a team is box office and they're winning and they're moving the envelope, they're pushing it, they're winning, they're getting the TV ratings, they're not getting the fair treatment. They have filed a lawsuit with the United States Soccer Federation alleging that they should get equal pay with the men. The men, men's soccer draws more worldwide, but in America, you're telling me that they shouldn't be getting close to or the same as the men? That's a joke.
Yeah.
Because they're more popular than the guys.
Yeah, and that's where I think that they have it's an absolute travesty. I mean, I think when you're talking about national teams and governing bodies that are under the same umbrella, you got to compensate the same. But when you've got a team of women that said you laid it all out, the attention, the pushing the envelope, moving the needle, we know their names. I mean, if you came in here, put a gun to my head and said, name me a member of the men's national team right now, I think I could do it, but I would fear for my life.
Maybe? Clint Dempsey? Josie Altidore?
Yeah, you might. I mean, I would probably get Altidore, but past that, it's a mystery who those guys are right now. They and I know they're playing competition right now. FIFA Gold Cup. FIFA did the women no favors, putting some of these other tournament finals at the same time as the women's finals, but the women are going to outdraw. There's not going to be any doubt what American soccer fans are going to be watching on Sunday. They're going to be watching the U.S. women try to win that World Cup again. So going to be great. Going to be fun to watch. It's been fun to watch for the last couple weeks. I'm going to miss it when it's gone, frankly. All right, let's get on to segment 2. We're calling this one Free Fallin', and I'm not going to sing, Cedric. I might have warmed up my vocal cords.
Give me some of that Tom Petty. Give me some of that Tom Petty.
I don't want to diss Tom that way.
Free fallin'. Come on.
See, there you go. But free agency right now, Cedric, last I looked, we were in the midst of TV helicopters following cars and planes that they thought were carrying Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. This whole thing has gone crazy. We obviously saw the big moves that were made over the weekend with Durant, with Kyrie going to the Nets. But Kawhi's still up in the air. Are you reading any tea leaves on all of this of what does all this mean for where Kawhi Leonard's going to land? Does it mean anything at this point?
Does anyone have anything better to do? You've got Checkpoint Charlie, helicopters. It's like a bad John Wick movie with the black SUVs, like 6 of them, trying to look inconspicuous. But you go, wait a minute, there's 6 black SUVs with tinted windows, and they're following Kawhi Leonard or whatever. Here's my thing on that. No one knows what Kawhi Leonard is thinking but Kawhi Leonard. The fact that he hasn't announced that he's coming back to Toronto, if I'm a Raptors fan, I'd be a little bit worried about that because that means he's weighing his options. And from what I've read, Jen, the Raptors are the last team that he's scheduled to meet with. And he reportedly asked to meet with Magic Johnson to talk about the Lakers, but the league said, no, you can't do that. I don't know why. Magic doesn't work for them. So I'm a believer that he's probably going to end up, if he's smart, he'll just do one more year in Toronto, see if he can get a repeat. And then when KD is back in the 2021 season, then you join him in either Brooklyn or you go, or if you want to leave right now, you could join LeBron James and the Unibrow in LA, which would make them a prohibitive favorite to win an NBA championship. I don't know if you've ever had 3 top 5 players on the same team. You've had 2 because I consider Steph Curry top 5. And we know Durant's top 5, so you've had that before. But I don't know if you've ever had 3 of the 5 best players in the same starting lineup. If that happens, the Lakers may win 75 games next year.
My only question about the timing with Kawhi as it relates to the Lakers, they've obviously, with those 2 big contracts already on the books, and now wanting to leave room for a third if Kawhi wants to go there, all of these free agents that might be mid-level guys or vet minimum type guys, they're all signing elsewhere. I mean, they can't wait around forever. The way free agency has gone, it's an immediate thing. You got to jump at those chances and land where you think is best. And so it's not just that there aren't a lot of good free agents out there that the Lakers could plug in with 3 potential great players. There just are. It's a reduced number of any free agents that are out there. So that to me is really interesting and perplexing about this decision that Kawhi has. If you're going there, sure. I mean, you're joining forces with 2 great players, but they got to have some other bodies out there. So at some point, I would think if you're the Lakers, you start to get a little bit worried. And even if you're Kawhi and thinking you might go there, isn't there an immediacy that he needs to get there? Obviously, he's going on his own terms. He's showing, just his place in the NBA, which frankly, may be the top right now. If he's able to take this long and the Lakers are willing to wait, I think it says that, he is now in that upper stratosphere, if not at the top at this point, which, I don't know what he's going to do either. I don't know if anybody does. I think you're right, Cedric. I think only he knows. But thus far, this has been obviously a fascinating look at where the NBA is headed. The Nets, not much of a player a week ago. Now, when Durant gets healthy, look like a team that will contend in the East. Who else do you see as winners in the free agency market, losers in the free agency market? What's top of your mind as we start to calibrate all of this after now 3-4 days of free agency?
Well, you mentioned Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are going to eventually hook up with the Nets when KD gets back healthy. You have to list them as a winner. The one that a lot of people aren't talking about, Jen, the Boston Celtics. They had an internal problem, some locker room issues, some chemistry issues with Kyrie Irving. Not the first time we've heard that about Kyrie, but they turn around and they get Kemba Walker on a 4-year deal. Kemba Walker, 26 points a game and shot 50% from the field, did not miss a game last year.
Wow.
We know that Kemba Walker's box office from what he did at UConn, and he's been an all-star 3 times. The Celtics quietly got him. I think they're in the mood. Maybe Enes Kanter, I think they may get. I'm not sure.
Yep,
I think they got him as
they
well.
Yep.
And because they lost Al Horford to the Knicks, I believe. So they've kind of figured some things out.
Yeah.
And I think Kemba Walker running that offense with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
They're going to be good. So the Knicks were another big loser in all of this. They didn't get the big name players. They didn't get KD. They didn't get Kyrie. They're not going to get Kawhi. So, and the one more thing on Kawhi before we move on, Jen. I grew up in the church, and they always talked about, you got to pray, and God will answer prayers, and blah, blah, blah. My uncle was a pastor, and he always said this about God. He may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. Kawhi Leonard could show up one day before the opening game of the next season to the Lakers, and he'll be right on time. They'll take it. They'll take it whenever he's ready.
That's true. They are willing to wait on Kawhi if he's willing to go there. I will say that it's going to be interesting in the West. I mean, obviously the Lakers still do they have 2 All-Stars? Do they have 3? That's still up in the air. But you saw a lot of teams get better in free agency. I mean, everybody knows in the East that the Sixers look really good. You mentioned Boston, Cedric, but a team like the Jazz, they may well be the top in the West right now with the acquisitions that they made. The Nuggets still look really good. You look around the league at the playoff teams last year in the West, and you could say all 8 really still look like they are playoff type teams. But then you start to look at who didn't make the playoffs, and pretty much everybody in the West got better. I'm not saying there's not going to be a bottom feeder in the West. Somebody will be at the bottom, probably the Suns, but they got a point guard finally. They got Ricky Rubio. So I think that it's interesting to see the upgrades that almost every team in the West has made, and there may be more to come. So really going to be interesting in the West. A conference that's continued to be really difficult. Did it get even more difficult in free agency? I think it did, even though the Warriors are not the big lead dog that they have been here for these last few years. All right, let's go on to segment 3. Let's talk by the numbers. Cedric, you've got a big one. It's $1.19 million, and that's the paycheck Bobby Bonilla got on Monday, July 1st, Bobby Bonilla Day. That guy hasn't played baseball since the Stone Ages, and he's still getting $1 million every July 1st. It's crazy, Cedric.
It's amazing. I would love to have his agent. And for those who don't know about this Bobby Bonilla contract, back in 2000, the New York Mets decided that they were going to release Bobby Bonilla. He was past his prime, they thought, and they wanted to save some money. And so they were on the hook for $5.9 million to Bobby Bonilla. And they said, we're going to give you a lump sum. And he goes, you know what? Instead of giving me a lump sum, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I want to defer that first payment till 2011, and I want 8% interest on that payment. And so what happens is he gets his first check in 2011. It was originally going to be a $5.9 million lump sum. It turned out to be just under $30 million. So Bobby Bonilla has been collecting about $1.19 million every July 1st since 2011. And so that's 7 payments. He's got, it's till 2035. So he's got 16 more payments coming his way every July 1st. Christmas in July. Bobby Bo will be 72 years old when he gets his final payment. You talk about a retirement plan, Jen. We need to find that guy's financial planner and put him on retainer. That guy is a genius.
Man, no doubt about it. I don't have anything that approaches that level of amazing for my number, but I do have 30, and that's the number of years consecutively that John Sterling, who's a Yankees broadcaster, has done Yankees games. He's done every Yankees game for 30 years. The last time he didn't call a Yankees game, Don Mattingly was the first baseman, and Deion Sanders was in the outfield.
Oh, my God.
Since then, Derek Jeter has gone through 3 years of high school. He's been drafted. He's gone through the minors. He played 20 seasons in the major leagues and bought a team. John Sterling has not missed a game in 30-plus years. He's going on a short rest here later this week. He's not going to call Thursday's game. The Yankees are saying he's going to be out about a week. He's been feeling under the weather. Frankly, I don't know how he didn't get there before. 30, I mean, I know we talk about people going to work all the time, Cedric, but that's a long time for a guy that has to use his voice every day. He's on airplanes. He's making trips. To not have missed a game in that long, I mean, let's give it up to people that get to work every day. Sometimes that needs to be applauded. That in and of itself is an accomplishment. Maybe that's something that we should celebrate as we're talking about Independence Day and getting to work every day. There's something to celebrate there.
You know, and baseball loves the numbers. And baseball's all about the stats.
Yep.
And Lou Gehrig played all of those games in a row. And then Cal Ripken comes along and plays 2,130 games, I think, was the record. And now you get John Sterling, just a warrior of a broadcaster. And if he walked in the door right now, I probably would not know him, Jen. But I've heard him.
Yep.
I've heard him go, Yankees win, Yankees win. And so everybody knows who that is. That's his signature. And so he has seen it all. He has seen it all for 30 years. Mm-hmm. That is forever. And when he started calling them in the mid-'80s, they were not good.
No.
That was the Mattingly years. They didn't get back good until Jeter and Mariano Rivera showed up and those cats. And so he's seen the dregs of the Yankees. He lived through the end of the Steinbrenner era, and now he's in the Brian Cashman era where they're making money. Steinbrenner still own it, but he's in a great era now. And if there's ever anyone that deserves a day off, I think it's John Sterling.
Yeah, I hope he's got plans to kick back, maybe go to the pool on 4th of July. That'll be the day off. You know, just enjoy the 4th of July. We all should. I hope you do. I hope you do, said. I plan to. So everybody, get out there and enjoy the holiday. We'll be back in a week to talk more sports on the Writer's Block. Until then, have a great holiday.